What's going on, everybody? Gage Benson, sponsored disc golfer from Worcester County, Massachusetts. It's getting to the end of the year now. Team challenge is in full swing, so I figured why not give a winter team challenge version of the In the Bag. So here we go.
To the wise.
Alright, so first things first, Team Diamonds, Maple Hill Diamonds. We are 2 matches into a 7-match season, currently 0-2. But the rest of the season is looking strong for us, so don't be surprised if we make a push for those playoffs, because I am ready and I'm feeling it, and I truly believe this team can make a push for the playoffs. But with that being said, let's get in the bag. Okay, so first things first, COVID-19. I got my Maple Hill neck gaiter face mask, and it keeps me warm too, so 2020, it's a weird year. That's that. So my putting putters, even though it snows out, I don't really care if my putters are white because I'm not throwing these. So what I have here is some super beat-in 350G PA3s. I wiped the stamp off these. I got these seasoned perfectly right where I want them. I putted really well with them last week in Borderland in our last team challenge match. It's funny because this was the pair I was using during the summer, and then I lost one in the Maple Hill Hole 14 pond. And I'm weird, I have to have a set, so once one is gone, then the set's useless to me. But the putter came back, so now the set is reunited and it's back in my bag, and I'm putting, I would say, better than ever. I finally got my confidence with the putter again, so putters. As far as my approach putters, my handy dandy 300 plastic PA3. This one's been in the bag for a very long time. If you watched any of these videos dating back to like when it first started, my one disc challenge on the Maple Hill Reds course is I shot I think it's -7 or -8, 47 with this disc, putting, throwing, approaching, all with this disc, and it's still in my bag, still holds true, and can't leave home without it, that's for sure. A new disc I've been messing around with, and I'm not sure how long this will stay in my bag. This is weather permitting, because if there's a lot of snow out, this will come out of my bag, but I got the 400 plastic Glow PA3. These were made famous by Chris Dickerson, and after watching Chris, play so well this year, I figured, why not? I'm gonna give it a shot. Very overstable. It has a lot of glide to it, but it does have a hard finish towards the end, and that complements my 500 plastic PA1. This is Seppu Payu. Shout out to Seppu. This is probably the most overstable PA1 version I've ever seen. Once I throw it, it doesn't want to go anywhere, and it just wants to dump left no matter what. It has its purpose, it has its shots, and it comes in handy. Very trustworthy in the wind, so you always gotta have one of these. Continue along with my approach disc. I have a 400 plastic A2. Anyone that plays disc golf, they got a gaiter or A2 or a tactic or something that just has a nice, easy flick approach or backhand approach that will hyzer no matter what. You always need one. Very trustworthy, and a great utility disc. Going into my mid-ranges, a new mid-range that's in the bag is the M Model S and Duraflex plastic. These are actually way more straighter than I thought, and they glide way more further than I ever thought. I would say it's too new in the bag to really give it any story, other than that one video I filmed. I think it was the last video I filmed. It's been in the bag ever since. But yeah, great disc, and I plan on throwing it a lot more. One disc that's been in the bag for a very long time is a 400G M3. Very trustworthy. Does not go as far as this one. This one does go further, but I think this one, although it's straight, it still might have a little bit more finish still than that one, so it complements those really well. And growing up, I was a big KC Pro rock thrower, and it took me forever to find replacements until the MX3 came out in the 350G plastic. these feel just like rocks to me. Very perfect. I got a beat up one that flips up for hyzer flips, and then I got kind of like a freshie, the straight, slight little fade finish. Yeah, I've been throwing the MX3 and the 350 plastic for a few years now, and I swear by it because, like I said, once I went to Prodigy, it took me a little bit to find that hyzer flip rock shot that I was missing, and this finally filled that slot. So it feels good to fill that slot. Distance drivers. I'll go right into distance drivers. First things first, I carry 2 D1s, very reliable. This one I got from a friend, Tim Riley, who gave it to me. I love the feel of this plastic. The 400 and 400G plastic just feels so good. This weekend I was using this for a lot of flick approaches, and man, can I tell you, like, I can hammer on this flat, even a little bit of anhyzer, and it still not only wants to come out of it, but it has a huge harsh finish at the end, which is always good because you need a trustworthy disc like that that doesn't want to dance too much and just does what you know it's going to do, even in windy situations. And these both, complement each other really well. I would say this one's probably a little bit more overstable than this one. All my years on Prodigy, I never really got into throwing the D3. I was always like a D1, D2, D4 thrower. But this year I finally got into throwing the D3. I got this Brainwave Dive D3 that my buddy Cooper hooked me up with. This one, hole 14, Maple Gold's MVP Open this year. I fired that hole all 3 rounds, and it was because I put this disc in circle 2 all 3 rounds and laid up my birdie putt to get a par all 3 rounds. So yeah, the D3 is a very good disc. Flies really straight and has a little bit of finish. Not as much of a fade as you would find in D2s and obviously D1s, but enough fade to know that it's going to hyzer out at the end. And then I got another D3, a little bit of orange, a little bit more straighter than this one. This one has a little bit more finish, but like I said, every disc complements each other really well. A new disc that I've been working in my bag this year is the D Model S in the Duraflex plastic. This is the new Ace Line release. These are probably the straightest discs out of the box that I've thrown in a really long time. And I like this because, typically my straight discs, I'm either trying to throw like a D3 or something flat, or I'm trying to hyzer flip up a D4, where these I just throw them nice and flat, maybe a slight bit of hyzer, and they will fly straight with a little bit of finish. As they start to beat in, they flip up a little bit, but I haven't found one that rolls over. It still always finds a nice little fade finish at the end, which is good. I got one in orange and one in green. Green one's a little bit more beat up than the orange one. Like I said, I like to have ones that complement each other really well. Last but not least, for my distance driver, it's the old trusty D4. This is the 400G plastic, lifeless stamp. I would have to say this one took me forever to beat in for some reason. I don't know why, but it's finally flipping. Almost flipping too much for me. I'm gonna have to put a fresh D4 in the bag, but this one has been a workhorse all year long. Hyzer flips, great long distance tunnel shots. I'm talking like 370, 380 tunnel shots uphill. This is the disc right here. I can make this fly straight for so long, and it's so trustworthy, and I love it. The favorite disc, this is my favorite disc that Prodigy doesn't make anymore, and it's the OG H3. These are probably hands down the best discs that Prodigy ever came out with. Why they don't make them anymore saddens me, but I got a couple in the bag, I got a couple backups, and nobody's ever gonna get their hands on them because I need them as much as possible. Got Old Blue, my nice flippy one. I would say hole 6 Maple Golds, I parred that during the MVP Open. I've actually buried it more than probably any other hole because of this disc. And yes, I said that. Hole 6, Maple Gold's MVP Open. I probably buried that hole more than any other hole on the course during the tournament with this disc alone. So, like every other disc, can't leave home without it. Got a more overstable, kind of newer, but I've been working it in, H3 that has an overstable finish. They complement each other really well. You'll hear me saying that a lot. Typically I got 2 of one mold, and I always have one that's a little bit more stable than the other one. That way they complement each other really well. I had 2 H2s, but I had to take one out because it's white. but H2, pretty overstable disc. I consider this like kind of my Firebird shot disc. This one's beat in a little bit, but still has that nice fade at the end, very reliable. I love the feel of the plastic like always. And yeah. One disc that's been in my bag since basically I started being sponsored by Prodigy is the H3V2 in Spectrum plastic. About a week or two after I was originally picked up in 2018, Mike Habits hooked me up with this disc, and it's literally been in my bag ever since. It's finally starting to beat in to the point where a hyzer flips a little bit and has a little bit of turn before it wants to finish at the end. For the longest time, it would just pop up, fly straight, and have a hyzer finish. And it took me about two and a half years to get this beat in, but it's finally beat in, and I love it. And I'll throw this all winter long. The only time I'm nervous about throwing it is during the fall because all the leaves, and it blends in with the leaves, so that's the only downfall. But it's made it through the fall so far, and hopefully it makes it through the winter. And last but not least, I got the F Model S in the Duraflex Glow Plastic, another new release from Prodigy and Ace-Line this year. This one complements the H3V2 really well because it's not as fast and it flips a lot more. So for my fairway flippy shot, this is the disc I'm going for. It's kind of like my slower version of a beat-in D4. Maybe not as flippy, but a slower version. So with that being said, that is my winter team challenge in the bag. That's what I'll be rocking for team challenge this year. Our next team challenge match is December 5th versus 401 in a neutral course. Because of COVID restrictions and all that mumbo jumbo, but I'm feeling confident. I'm pretty sure my team's gonna finally snag a win this time, and I really hope so because I want to see nothing but this team win. I want the team to know that they can win, and it takes everybody as a team to win. You know, I so far I got 1 win and 1 tie in my singles, and I got 2 wins and no losses in my doubles. And so basically I scored 5.5 out of my 6 points so far this season, and we lost both points. So as you can, that's just a small example of how it's not an individual sport. It takes a full team effort to win in team challenge. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this next match, and I really hope the team's ready and we get that dub and make a push for the playoffs before it's too late. So thank you for watching, like and subscribe. See you next time. Turn out how they seem, cause things stop breaking, tearing, splitting at the seams. Every time I'm facing, staring where I wanna be, working a 9 to 5 while trying to make verses raw. Almost got on where here comes Murphy's Law, like